Have you ever wondered why Alexander the Great's name continues to resonate thousands of years after his demise? A question that has intrigued historians and enthusiasts alike. Let's set the stage for this epic narrative. In the 4th century BC, a figure emerged from the small kingdom of Macedonia, a man who would leave an indelible mark on the annals of history: Alexander the Great. Born in 356 BC, he took to the throne at the tender age of 20 and began a campaign that would reshape the world as it was known then. His ambitions knew no bounds, and his lineage, traced back to Achilles and Zeus, only added fuel to his fire. Alexander's reign was not just about conquests and victories, it was also about uniting ancient Greece, overthrowing the mighty Persian Empire, seizing Egypt, and creating an empire that stretched from Europe to Asia. The city of Alexandria, a jewel of the ancient world, was his creation, built during his time as the liberator of Egypt. But every story has its shadows, and Alexander's is no exception. Behind the glory of his conquests and the splendor of his empire, there lay a complex web of intrigue, suspicion, and dissent. Even as he was hailed as a god in Egypt and stood victorious in Persia, the seeds of discontent were being sown within his ranks, and the roots of suspicion were creeping into his heart. From the loyal followers who fueled his rise to power, to the brewing resentment among his Macedonian troops, to the tragic plight of Philotas, a loyal general ensnared in a web of conspiracy. Alexander's reign was as much about internal strife as it was about external conquest. Alexander the Great, the man who conquered empires, also wrestled with his own demons. His legacy, while awe-inspiring, is also a poignant tale of megalomania, paranoia, and unraveling loyalties. A tale that continues to captivate us thousands of years later. Let's venture back in time to unravel the extraordinary life of this legendary figure. Born in 356 BC, Alexander ascended to the throne of Macedon at the tender age of 20. A young man with a fiery heart and an ambitious soul, he was ushered into a world of power and responsibility far beyond his years. Yet his youth did not deter him. On the contrary, it fueled his determination to carve a name for himself in the annals of history. Alexander's early life was steeped in the lore of legendary heroes and divine beings. Tutored by Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers of ancient Greece, Alexander was not just immersed in the art of warfare and politics, but also in the tales of heroes like Achilles and Hercules. These stories instilled in him a deep-seated belief in his own divine lineage. He was convinced that he was a descendant of Achilles on his mother's side and the son of Zeus on his father's. His ascension to the throne marked a turning point in the history of ancient Greece. He inherited a kingdom teetering on the brink of chaos, fraught with internal strife and external threats. Yet, with an iron will and a cunning mind, he managed to consolidate his power, quell the rebellions, and unify the fragmented city-states under his rule. But Alexander's ambitions were not confined to the boundaries of Greece. His gaze was set on the vast expanses of the Persian Empire. Fueled by his belief in his divine lineage and his desire to avenge the Persian invasions of Greece, he set out on a series of military campaigns that would forever change the course of history. His victories were swift and decisive. He swept across Anatolia, defeated the Persian forces at the Battle of Issus, and marched into Egypt, where he was hailed as a liberator. Every conquest, every victory, only heightened his belief in his divine destiny. Thus began the journey of a young king, fueled by ambition and the belief in his divine lineage. Alexander the Great was not just a conqueror of lands, but a conqueror of hearts and minds. His story is a testament to the power of ambition, the allure of legend, and the enduring impact of a single individual's will on the course of history. With loyal followers by his side, Alexander embarked on a series of conquests that would change the face of the world. His first significant victory came in Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, where he faced the formidable Persian forces. Fearless and strategic, Alexander and his men swept across the region, leaving a trail of victories that would become the stuff of legends. The Battle of Issus followed, where Alexander's military genius was put to the test. The Persian king, Darius III, had assembled a vast army, but it was no match for the tactical prowess of Alexander. The young king's audacity and the loyalty of his troops led to a decisive victory that sent shockwaves through the Persian Empire. From Anatolia, Alexander turned his attention to Egypt, a land steeped in ancient traditions and mystique. But the Egyptians did not meet him with swords and spears. Instead, they hailed him as a liberator. The oppressive Persian rule had taken its toll, and the arrival of Alexander was seen as a ray of hope. He embraced this role with gusto, founding the city of Alexandria, which would become an epitome of Hellenic culture and learning. In the midst of these triumphs, Alexander undertook a pilgrimage to the Siwa oasis, a journey that would have a profound impact on his psyche. The priests of the Oracle of Ammon proclaimed him the son of Zeus, reinforcing his belief in his divine destiny. This declaration stoked the fires of ambition within him, driving him further on his path of conquest. Victory after victory, the young king's empire continued to grow. From the rugged terrains of Anatolia to the fertile plains of Egypt, Alexander's influence spread far and wide, but this was just the beginning. The stage was set for more conquests, more victories, and an empire that would stretch from Europe to Asia. Each step forward brought Alexander closer to his dream, a dream that was as expansive as the empire he was building. Having defeated Darius, Alexander found himself in Babylon, the new seat of his government in Asia. Babylon, a city of splendor and grandeur, became the epicenter of Alexander's power. Yet, beneath the city's glittering surface, a storm was brewing. In the heart of this bustling metropolis, Alexander was surrounded by a melting pot of cultures, a fusion of Greek and Persian customs. This vibrant mix, while enriching, also presented a challenge. The Macedonian soldiers who had followed Alexander through thick and thin found themselves in an unfamiliar world. The customs and traditions of the Persians, while fascinating, were foreign to them. This cultural chasm gave birth to tensions that would soon escalate. Adding fuel to the fire was Macedonia, the Persian satrap of Babylon. Macedonia, who had once fought against the Macedonians at Gaugamela, was now their host. His presence was a constant reminder of the bitter battle. The Macedonians, steeped in their own traditions and pride, found it hard to accept a former enemy in their midst. Resentment towards Macedonia simmered, creating a divide within the ranks. While Alexander was forging ahead, expanding his empire, he was also wrestling with the internal strife. The whispers of discontent did not escape his ears. The man who had conquered vast territories now found himself trying to navigate the treacherous waters of resentment and suspicion. Alexander, the great unifier, was facing a rift within his own ranks. The brewing tension was a stark reminder that conquering lands was one thing, ruling them was another. The seeds of discord once sown were hard to uproot. Alexander's empire was not just about territories and conquests. It was also about people, their loyalties and their rivalries. As he sat on his throne in Babylon, Alexander was not just a conqueror, he was also a mediator, a peacekeeper, trying to keep his empire from fracturing. As Alexander's empire expanded, so did the shadows of suspicion and resentment. The seat of power had shifted, and with it came the challenge of maintaining harmony within the ranks. Alexander the Great, the conqueror of empires, was now grappling with the complexities of power and governance. In the court of intrigue, even a loyal general like Philotas found himself ensnared in a web of suspicion. As Alexander's empire expanded, so too did the shadows of distrust that shrouded his court. Philotas, once a trusted general, found himself at the heart of these shadows. Philotas was a man of valor, a seasoned warrior who had proven his loyalty time and again on the battlefield. He stood by Alexander's side during the most challenging campaigns, sharing in the blood and sweat of conquest. Yet in the snake pit of court politics, loyalty on the battlefield counted for little. Accusations began to swirl around Philotas like a malevolent storm. Whispers of a plot to assassinate Alexander began to echo through the corridors of power. The source of these accusations, a seemingly trivial lovers' quarrel that had grown into a monstrous conspiracy. Philotas, caught in the eye of this storm, vehemently denied the allegations. He proclaimed his innocence with a fervor that matched his battlefield courage. But, in the court of intrigue, words were as potent as swords, and whispers carried far more weight than denials. Alexander, the great conqueror, found himself in a quandary. His empire was vast, but his trust was dwindling. The shadows of suspicion had seeped into his mind, coloring how he saw his most loyal comrades. The paranoia that had taken root in his heart made him see threats in every corner, even from those who had once been his closest allies. Philotas, the loyal general, fell from grace. His reputation tarnished, his loyalty questioned, he was thrust into the cold embrace of disgrace. The court of Alexander, once a beacon of unity and strength, was becoming a breeding ground for distrust and betrayal. Intrigue and suspicion were becoming the order of the day in Alexander's court. The fall of Philotas was not just the downfall of a loyal general, but a sign of the unraveling threads of trust and loyalty in the fabric of Alexander's empire. Alexander, the conqueror of empires, grappled not only with external foes, but also with the shadows within. As the sun began to set on his reign, Alexander found himself battling an enemy he couldn't subdue with sword or spear. His own mind, his paranoia, once a gentle whisper, now roared in his ears like the tempestuous winds of the Hellespont. A seed of doubt had been planted, and it began to strangle the trust he had in those who were closest to him. The once tight-knit Macedonian camaraderie began to crack under the weight of suspicion. Every whisper became a conspiracy, every sideways glance a potential betrayal. Alexander's inner circle, the very men who had fought by his side, now bore the brunt of his paranoia. One by one they fell from grace, their loyalty questioned, their roles diminished. Accusations of treason were as common as the morning sunrise. The unity that had once defined his rule was now a distant memory, replaced by an atmosphere of fear and mistrust. The empire that Alexander had so carefully built began to crumble from within. The once invincible force that had swept through Persia and Egypt began to falter. Distress signals echoed through the corridors of power, but Alexander, blinded by suspicion, failed to recognize them. He was too consumed by the shadows within to see the storm brewing on the horizon. In the end, it wasn't a superior army or a cunning adversary that led to the downfall of Alexander's empire. It was the insidious creep of paranoia, the fracturing of his inner circle, and the erosion of unity that marked the beginning of the end. His empire, built on the pillars of loyalty and trust, collapsed under the weight of suspicion and fear. Alexander's story is not just one of awe and wonder, but also a tale of intrigue and unraveling loyalties. As we look back on his reign, we are reminded that even the greatest of empires can fall, not only from the might of external adversaries, but also from the shadows within. Despite his untimely death, Alexander's legacy continues to resonate across the millennia. His untamed spirit of conquest, his strategic brilliance, and his unyielding ambition remain an inspiration and a cautionary tale. His reign transformed the cultural and political landscape of his time. His ruthless drive for expansion united ancient Greece and brought the vast Persian Empire to its knees. Through his conquests, Alexander spread Hellenistic culture far and wide, leaving an indelible mark on the civilizations he touched. The city of Alexandria, founded by Alexander himself, became a beacon of knowledge, housing the famous Library of Alexandria and the Lighthouse, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Yet, the grandeur of his reign was marred by intrigue and suspicion. His paranoia turned him against those he once trusted, leading to the downfall of loyal followers like Philotas. His unquenchable thirst for power and divine status bred resentment among his inner circle, and his empire began to crumble even before his untimely death. The dichotomy of Alexander's life, his monumental achievements and his tragic downfall, serves as a reminder of the power and peril of unchecked ambition. His life is a testament to the heights humanity can reach and the depths to which it can fall when consumed by power and paranoia. But despite the shadows that mar his legacy, Alexander's impact on the world is undeniable. His influence shaped the course of history, laying the groundwork for the Roman Empire and leaving an enduring legacy that continues to resonate today. From Europe to Asia, the footprints of his empire are still visible in the languages, cultures, and political landscapes of the regions he conquered. The story of Alexander the Great remains one of the most captivating tales in human history. His legacy is a testament to the enduring allure of power, ambition, and the human spirit. A legacy that lives on, echoing through the corridors of time, forever a part of our shared human narrative. We hope you enjoyed our journey through the life and legacy of Alexander the Great. His story, filled with ambition, power, and intrigue, continues to captivate us even after thousands of years. If you found this narrative informative and engaging, please give it a thumbs up. Your likes help us to continue creating more content like this. We invite you to subscribe to our channel for more historical narratives. Our journey through history is far from over, and we would love for you to join us on this exploration. By subscribing, you'll be notified whenever we release a new video, ensuring you never miss a moment of our shared human narrative. We're also interested in hearing your thoughts about Alexander the Great. What do you find most fascinating about his life and legacy? Do you see him as a hero, a villain, or something in between? Share your thoughts and comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Until next time, keep exploring history with us. Your journey through the past is only just beginning, and we're excited to guide you every step of the way. Here's to our shared love of history and the stories that shape our world.